400 kilometers above the Earth, humanity's most complex structure is tearing through a deadly vacuum at 28,000 kilometers per hour. Outside, there is zero atmosphere, crushing cold, and scorching radiation. This is the International Space Station. Built by 15 nations, it serves as a permanent research lab that can only exist because of a massive, continuous engineering effort to keep the crew alive. Inside, the day begins in a cramped, windowless personal cabin. Astronauts wake up strapped vertically to the wall in sleeping bags, wearing earplugs to block the relentless roar of life support machines. Those machines are loud for a reason. On Earth, the carbon dioxide you exhale naturally disperses. But in zero gravity, that gas stays put, pooling in a tight, invisible sphere right around your head. Without constant, high-powered ventilation fans physically blowing that exhaust away, a sleeping astronaut would quietly suffocate in their own breath. On the ISS, even unconscious sleep requires a flawless, active defense system just to survive the night. Once awake, the human body immediately shows the strain of weightlessness. Without gravity pulling fluids down, blood and water rise into the chest and head, leaving the crew with puffy faces and perpetually running noses. That same lack of gravity dictates how they handle human waste. Toilets up here rely on high-powered suction to ensure that solid and liquid deposits are safely captured instead of floating into the cabin. Managing that waste leads directly to another logistical problem: hydration. Water is incredibly heavy, making it far too expensive to continuously launch from Earth. So the station runs a closed-loop recycling system. An advanced filtration network captures everything. It pulls moisture out of the air from exhaled breath and sweat and routes it, along with the crew's urine, through a mechanical node that purifies 98% of it back into 6,000 liters of drinking water every year. The result is clean, potable water that astronauts consume from specially designed zero-gravity silver pouches. Out here, the crew's own biological byproducts must be aggressively reclaimed to sustain their lifeline. As the workday begins, the station continues its blistering pace. Orbiting the planet every 90 minutes means the crew sees a sunrise or a sunset every 45 minutes. This rapid cycle creates a brutal thermal environment. The side of the hole facing the sun scorches at 120 degrees Celsius, while the side in the Earth's shadow plunges to minus 160 degrees. To keep the crew from freezing or baking, the station runs a massive thermal control system. Internal cooling loops filled with water absorb the heat generated by the astronauts and their electronic equipment. That heat is transferred to external ammonia circuits, which pump it all the way out to giant external radiators on the truss structure, safely bleeding the energy into the void to maintain a steady 24 degrees inside. This invisible thermal management is the only thing keeping the interior habitable, while the metal hull outside flexes under massive temperature swings every 45 minutes. But machines break. During one expedition, cameras caught a critical anomaly on the outside, a massive tear nearly a meter long inside one of the vital solar panels. The station runs entirely on solar power. Reduced electrical input meant ground control would have to throttle life support systems. The only option was a spacewalk to patch the fabric. This particular fix carried specific hazards. Scott Parazynski would have to venture farther from the airlock than any astronaut before him, while working within inches of live 100-volt circuitry. Parazynski had to be positioned at the absolute limits of the station's reach. He was suspended directly over the Earth at the very tip of an extended robotic arm. The crew didn't have factory replacements for the torn array. Instead, they spent hours inside crafting 5 makeshift braces out of aluminum strips and insulating every metal tool with triple layers of duct tape. The station's power was restored not by a complex automated repair, but by 5 handmade metal strips and a few rolls of tape. Today, the 420-ton structure has been orbiting for over 25 years, and it is showing its age. The cooling systems occasionally act up, and microscopic, untraceable oxygen leaks force the crew to hunt down escaping air. Engineering has a limit. By 2030, this Asian satellite is scheduled for a planned, controlled descent, where it will plunge back into the ocean. But until that day, it remains a unique neutral ground. Even with geopolitical fractures and war sanctions on Earth, international crews continue to manage these complex life support systems side by side. Surviving space is a daily, active battle against a lethal environment, won by the relentless, collaborative effort of the people on